Hello. Welcome to the September 23rd meetup for the Baltimore WordPress meetup group. And today we are going to be talking all about networking and how you can network with other businesses to expand your business. Before we get into the main content of the meetup, we just have a few administrative things to cover. First of all, recordings will be available in about 2 weeks. Any links that were shared in the Zoom chat will be available at the end of the recording. So if you're looking for them, watch for the YouTube link and they will be at the end. Everything that we show is informational. Please use the information, products, and services that we show at your own risk. Just because we are showing a website, plugin, theme, or anything else is not an official WordPress endorsement of it. And above all, keep it family friendly, as many of us are attending from home. We will be doing our best to follow the Baltimore WordPress Meetup community standards. That means that if you break these rules, you'll be evicted from the meeting. No spamming or spammer-like behavior. We have people of all different skill levels and backgrounds, so no judgment for those who are at a different place than where you are at. And generally speaking, don't be a jerk. Some sponsors before we get into our content. First, we would like to thank Anfira. They help companies serious about their WordPress development needs. They specialize in helping agencies and businesses that have been frustrated by their WordPress challenges. The Easy Alley Guide. They work to make web accessibility easier to implement through done-for-you tools and processes. For more information about web accessibility, please visit them at easyalleyguide.com. And OB Digital Consulting. OB sponsors our video recordings and prepares them for YouTube. Please reach out and contact them if you need help getting video production done. Some quick admin. We will use the chat as always to queue people up for questions. Our presenter today will be David Bishop, and he will be talking all about networking. If you have a question or comment during the presentation, just drop it into the chat. All right, David, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me on today. First of all, how many of you in the group have actually gone to business networking events? Anybody? Just throw it in the chat. Yes, no, don't care. A couple of yeses. Always. Oh, I like that. Okay. No is good. All right. Bunch of no's, some yeses, and always. One of the uh-oh. One of the things that is great about networking is you don't have to be good at it to get started in it. To give you a little bit of background on me to start, first of all, I was voted the most inhibited person in my high school. So that tells you something about the type of person that I was. I was very quiet. I was very shy. I am a bit older than the average web developer. I am 60. I graduated from Carnegie Mellon with an information systems degree, started in IT in New York. After a while there, when the web first started, I got involved in learning the programming aspects of it, and I thought it was really cool. I had worked in college on ARPANET back in the 80s and had seen the beginnings of the internet. And so once the World Wide Web started and you could make pictures online and see all these wonderful things, I got right into it. We started, our first website was a month before Microsoft had a site. So we have been around forever. I remember programming on Notepad and doing everything, just very slow text, no CSS, no nothing. Eventually, we grew and the new technologies came out and always stayed at the forefront of what's been available. Worked on projects of all sizes, from mom and pops. My largest client right now is 670 million in annual sales. So doesn't matter which side it is. As far as networking, I started it very early. I started it with my first company, which was a tech company and a web company, because I wanted people to get to know who I was and what I was doing. Didn't really know much about it. I always thought it was just sitting around a table and passing names of people that you knew or could sell somebody for some business. That's not what it's about at all. It's about relationship building. People don't refer you because you gave them a card at a mass event with 500 people in it. They will refer business to you once they get to know you and they know, like, and trust you. It takes time to develop that. The beauty of going to a networking event is that it gives you the opportunity to start to meet those people. And then you can figure out which ones will work best for you for your business. Now, when I first started, I walked into a meeting. I didn't know what the heck was happening. There was 20 people in the room. Everybody was talking to each other, handshaking. I didn't know anybody. Okay. Remember, most inhibited. I was very scared. I didn't, I didn't get to go and jump into people very quickly. One of the things that networking teaches you is public speaking and being able to talk to people out of nowhere. And after a while, 5, 6 networking meetings, it became second nature to me to start to just walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, I'm David Bishop. Nice to meet you. What do you do for a living? Tell me about yourself." Breaks the ice, gets everybody going. It's really easy once you get past that initial kind of fright and scariness. Over time, you will get to make friends. And I don't mean people that we're necessarily going to go out with every weekend. I'm talking about people that are in similar industries to you. For example, we're all web developers here. Okay. Do you want to meet a managed IT firm? Do you want to meet an accountant? Do you want to meet people who refer a lot of business to business people? Those are the type of people you're going to meet. Do you want to meet the person who just deals with, consumers, the local plumber, the landscape guy? Surprisingly, sometimes yes, because that landscaping guy might have some corporate clients and he might be able to refer you out. But you learn over time which ones to talk to and become friends with and get to know better, and which ones to ignore. It's a long process. You have to be experienced in it. It's not the end of the world if you miss a couple at the beginning because you're learning. Like everything else, you started out in WordPress, didn't necessarily know what was going on. You saw all these back end stuff. You had to teach yourself. And you were good at it after a while. Same thing with networking. You're going to go into the first meeting and have deer in headlights. And the good thing is, people who are experienced see that deer in headlights look, and they will come over to you and break the ice with you. So, don't worry about, I'm going to sit in a corner and not interact with people. That very rarely happens. The way you've been in these meetings and you meet these people, you start doing what's called a one-on-one. And what that is you get somebody's contact info and you say, "Hey, let's do lunch tomorrow. Let's do a Zoom. You don't even have to leave your house. The big thing now since 2020 is let's do a Zoom. Schedule it with somebody, sit down, talk to them for a half hour. Casual stuff does not have to be about business. In fact, really, when people start talking about what I can offer you and start doing a sales pitch, it turns a lot of networking people off. They want to get to know you, your personality, who you are, and your business. And you don't have to give them the hard sales pitch. You don't have to worry about selling to those people. The key to networking is selling to the people that they sell to. They will end up referring you to other people. You don't care if you're going to sell to the people in the room. You're selling to the people outside the room. So get to know people. After a while, after that first meeting, you may decide that person is not a good fit for you. or you don't like them, or you get a bad feeling, that's fine. You can just not talk to them again, or say hi to them if you run into them in a meeting. It's nobody's going to take it personally. As you know, relationships come and go. If you find somebody you like and you have something in common and your businesses align, schedule another one-on-one. Make it a little bit longer. Start talking about what you can do for each other. What can I do to refer for you? What you can do to refer to me. Again, people hate when you're selling to them. What they want to do is they want to know what you can get for them. People are selfish. If you don't give out, you're not going to get anything back. It's the giver's gain mentality. It's a very simple concept. Give out first, and you'll get back fivefold easily. Most of my life, I was up in New York, and I was fairly successful. When I sold my firm during COVID, I had 7 employees. They went to another company. I was able to keep the web stuff. I moved down to Baltimore because I got married, ironically, to my college sweetheart, who I met at Carnegie Mellon. And I moved into this area, and I did not know anybody except my wife. And it was right as COVID was ending. It was the end of 21. I didn't know what I was going to do. I did decide that I was not doing IT work at all in any way, shape, or form. I was just focusing on the web and got things set up, figured out what am I going to do? Nobody knows me, my business. Could I advertise in the paper? No, let's go back to what I did best. I looked through the area. I found a networking group. The group was called MBX. They're still in business. They do have some events around the Baltimore County area. They are mostly right now in PA, and a little bit in Virginia. But I got to meet some of the people there. And at one of the meetings, I sat down with 2 very nice ladies, and I said, look, I'm new here. What am I going to do to network myself? Give me the places that I can go to meet a lot of people. And they came up with some suggestions. They said, go to the Chamber of Commerce's, go to the local chamber by you, go to the local chambers in the area. They are small, they are looking for businesses. Do other networking groups. They were great in referring me out to other companies, because in networking, nobody cares except maybe the owners of the networking group to have the business. It's all about what you can do around to get to know people. So I started to do that. I did join a BNI group. We could talk about that separately. That's a whole nother lecture. I, did the Chamber of Commerce. Met a lot of people. I am now on the board of the local chamber. But the thing is that I started to get my name out there. And eventually, things started to pay off. I was attending at my peak 15 meetings a week. That is breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day of the week. At night, I would do my web work. On the weekends, I would do my web work. The rest of the time, I was out there networking. I did not get a single job for 9 months. And then an insurance company called me and said, so-and-so referred me to you. I need a new website. I have a new company. I need a new website. And I started to do that first job. I got to know some people that were politicians because I have a niche of doing political websites. Did one for a candidate. They won. Got referrals there. People in other groups started to get to know me and referred me out. And I was doing all sorts of jobs, small ones mostly, but getting some jobs because people are going to refer you to people as a test and see if you're doing right. I did good by them. Word spread. years later now, 4 years later, I have a network of hundreds of people that I now know. I get more work than I can handle at times. There are times that I actually turn down work because I just can't fit it into the schedule. And I am not interested in growing too far too fast. So, and along with it, I decided to give back. And so I started my own networking group. And that has taken off. My contacts come to my meetings because they want to get to know other people. And I stress the fact that it's about networking. It's not about giving, your business card out and walking away. You got to have those personal conversations. And that works out very well for people. Anybody can do it. It takes a lot of effort. My budget for my first couple of years was probably about $5,000 in direct networking costs and probably another 5 or 6 thousand in crappy lunches and crappy meals. But that's the cost of getting to know people. It's a lot cheaper than buying an ad somewhere and having it thrown away and maybe getting a couple of things and spending $5,000 on an ad that maybe runs, once a week somewhere. Meetings themselves, well, let me ask you, how many people, is anybody scared about going into a meeting? Do you want to hear about how the process works?
I think they probably do. I know I
Yeah.
was when I was like, okay, well, David's gonna be there. He's gonna be my emotional support person if I need him. So sure, I'm gonna go. But yes, I was a bit nervous about, okay, what happens when I actually walk in the door?
Okay. And definitely nervous does, yes. The thing is, what happened? She came right over to me and said, "Hey, I'm Jen. Remember
Emotional
me?
support person.
We talked. Come sit with me." And okay, so we stood there and we chatted for a little while. By the time you came, there were not that many people there. There was probably about 10 people or so, 15 people. It wasn't that big. But you had somebody. When you go into one of these meetings, if you're scared or nervous, pick somebody out. Doesn't matter. It could
Looks
be
friendly.
somebody,
Yes.
yeah, somebody who looks friendly, who's maybe standing by themselves or talking to one person. Sometimes just go up to them and say hi. If you don't want to do that, walk over to the conversation. Find somebody talking to one or two other people. Walk over to them and just stand there. You don't have to do anything. You can just stand quietly and listen to the conversation. If you feel like saying something into it, go ahead. Chances are they're going to be talking about stuff that's not related to you because they know each other already. But you can just go over and listen and get a feel for it. Nobody's going to look at you cross-eyed. Nobody's going to throw you out. Um, Most meetings start with a little bit of what I call open networking, where people will just do those kind of meetings, getting around to each other, talking, catching up, saying hi. It could be a half hour or so, doesn't matter. They vary by groups. Then usually at a meeting, there is a sit down moment where everybody sits down and you can order your food, or if it's a buffet style, you go and get your food, pick somebody and sit down with them. Same thing. Get to know somebody. If you see somebody, sit down with them. You know, somebody's getting the same food as you, go, oh, pretty cool. Thank you. Anything to break the ice, anything to make yourself feel better. Then you have to get ready for what's called the dreaded elevator pitch. And this is what scares everybody the most. An elevator pitch, for those of you who don't know, is a 30 to 45-second explanation of you and what you do. Think of it as, again, elevator pitch. You walk into an elevator with somebody, the door's closed, you got 2 floors to explain yourself. Shark Tank, 2 floors. Give me something that's going to make me memorable to people. So Oftentimes, you'll have to stand up and give it in front of the whole group. And I have seen people write it down, perfectly acceptable. I've seen people practice it very well, and I've seen people stumble all over the place. I have probably about 20 or 30 of them up here that I just bring out depending on the situation. So I may be something like this. Hello there. My name is Dave Bishop from Technolegs. We have been making profitable websites for businesses since 1994. We're one of the originals. We know what it takes to make a good site. We know what it takes to make people who visit your site become customers. We also make sure that you're found well on the back end by making sure your SEO and your Google local pages are set up properly. And then we maintain the pages both with service contracts and hosting. If you're looking for more information, we deal with businesses of all sizes. Give me a call, Dave Bishop from Technolegs. That's it. How many of you can do that about your business? It's not hard. If you like your business, write down what sets you apart, think about it, put it down on a piece of paper, put it on your phone. When your time comes, just read it. Just read it. I have a person in who comes to a lot of my meetings. Really nice guy, good friend of mine. He's a bit on the autism spectrum. He will give his elevator pitch and he will look down and he will read it very carefully. And then he will stop and look up. And sometimes people have questions for him because he's triggered something positive in them that they want to ask him more about his business. So it doesn't matter how outgoing you are or how scared you are. Get that little 30-second pitch memorized and you can spit it out at any time to somebody. After that time, usually there's a talk by somebody.
Dave, can I interrupt you?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead. Any
So,
questions?
one really important thing that you did in your intro that a lot of people forget to do is you mentioned your name at the beginning and the end.
Yes.
So, if when you mention your name at the beginning, people don't have a reason to remember you yet.
Mhm.
Once they've heard the middle of it, they kind of make this decision, should I put some, neurons and gray matter into remembering this person or not? Do I care?
Yep.
They've decided whether or not they care. So then when you reiterate who you are at the end, then they've decided if they do care, they're now paying attention to your name. And it also, for me, since I'm one of those people who needs to see things, I don't do so well with hearing things. I brought a little notebook with me. And
Mhm.
so when I heard someone who was interesting and that I wanted to hear more about them, I wrote their name down and kind of something and one little interesting thing about them. Like what was the thing that I heard that was really interesting. So I wrote down their name and what was interesting. And so then I was like, okay, now I have a list of who I want to talk to for the next part.
Yep. Perfect way to go about it. Keeping a list of people, excellent thing because some of these meetings might have 10 people in it. Some of these meetings might have 50 people in it. The easiest thing to do is to do some note taking. Put it on your phone, put it on a notepad, whatever it is, just to get to know people. And again, by mentioning my name first and last, gives you an opportunity to write that down. The big problem that people have with their elevator pitches is they start to think that they have to do Ken Burns Presents. And we don't want to have the 10-minute, 5-minute presentation of what you're going to do. People turn off after about 30 seconds. Now, I've been talking nonstop for a half hour. I don't know how many of you have turned off or not, but um, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about a topic. There is a difference. When you're talking about yourself for that long, people's eyes will glaze over and you will lose them all, and nobody's going to want to refer you. So remember that 30-second, 45-second pitch. If you're testing it at home, Put a clock up next to you. Put the stopwatch on your phone and time yourself. Make sure you do it easily and quickly. And then when you're
But
sitting
don't
down,
rush it.
do not rush it.
One thing, so I did Toastmasters.
Yep.
Uh my father subjected me to it when I was a teenager. Thankfully, I only had to run the camera for it because it was actually televised on the local access TV shows. And so I got to hide, which was wonderful place for me to be. But one thing, especially when people are reading, they speak faster. They rush the words out, they don't enunciate. So what I found is, especially if you have a music background, this is really easy. I tap.
Mhm.
I just like do it in some inconspicuous way, like for example, at your meeting, we were all sitting down. So I could literally just tap next to my leg underneath the table, no one can see it.
Mhm.
But I just tap and that helps me keep a tempo as I go. And that
Mhm.
tempo allows for breathing so that you don't run out of air. And it also keeps you on pace so that you don't rush through the whole thing.
Right. Right. I am from New York, as you have, I'm sure, surmised by now, and I've mentioned.
No, specifically, you're not from the state, you're from the city.
I'm from
It's a
Long
very
Island.
important upstate, downstate
Yes.
distinction.
Long Island. Forget about upstate or downstate. And I do tend to talk very fast. And people down here have said that. And I have actually moderated my speech pattern to try to be a little bit slower. Maybe not this time, but you've heard me talk about a lot of different things. It is better to be clear. It is better to say your message in a way that people will be able to understand it. Don't give them technical jargon. Nobody wants to hear technical jargon. The most technical thing you should say is SEO because most people understand that. Don't go into HTML, don't go into CSS, don't go into Ruby, don't start talking about all these different things. My wife works for the government and they are acronym central. And that's all they talk about is that they talk in acronyms. It works for them. Does not work when you're talking to people outside of your industry. And that's a good note for your clients too. You know, one of the reasons why I've been successful is that I don't talk to them in technical terms. I talk to them as people and I talk to them using simpler concepts that they can understand instead of going into the technical details of a website. And that does make a big difference as far as getting and retaining customers. So anyway, so once you've done that, it will start to flow. Take your time, get to know people. I can do later on, maybe another one if people are interested. I can do a whole workshop on the elevator pitch. I have done it for many, many groups over the years. We can talk about that. We can talk about the advantages and disadvantages of groups like BNI or Latip. I think Toastmasters is excellent for those of you that maybe are a little bit nervous and want to figure out how to speak in public. It's a great way to break the ice. It's a great
Yeah.
way to learn from
One
people.
of one of the things about Toastmasters is you don't have to have any idea what you're doing going in the room because it's a very structured, very organized
Mhm.
system. So if you're an introvert and you're like, I I can't freestyle. It's going to, they're kind of going to bring you into the fold and they're going to give you a lot of structure so that you don't have to worry about freestyling.
Mhm. Yeah, and over time, you'll be great at it.
Mhm.
Um, you
Lots
know,
of practice.
yeah, it takes practice, it takes experience. You will be able to do it. Don't be scared. I would recommend that if you are going to go to a networking event, look around online, find a small meetup, find a group that may have 15 to 20 people. One of the things about that initial MBX group was that their meetings were small. Their meetings are 10 or 15. If you know somebody in Frederick, if you know somebody in Northern Virginia, or if you're in Southern PA, I can certainly point you to some of those MBX events. They're very small. You get to talk directly to some people, and it's a great way to break into networking. You're not going to want to stay in those small groups forever because you're not going to meet a lot of different people. But it's a great way to kind of get yourself used to talking in front of people. And then later on, go to these other groups. I stay away from the mega events. The Chamber of Commerce, I'm on, like I said, I'm on the board of the Northwest Chamber here. We have mega events 4 times a year with all the other chambers in Baltimore County. It's great in a sense, but it's also 250 people in a hotel lobby passing out business cards. If you have a table there, different story. If you're trying to get business, it's the shotgun approach. You're going to throw your card out to a bunch of people. Maybe somebody might keep it and look at it. Maybe you might look at one of the 50 cards that you get, but chances are it's not going to work. Look for those small to mid-sized groups where you can meet some new people. That's the best way, to really go about doing it. And keep those contacts fresh. We all have a CRM of some kind. We all have, whether it's Excel or Outlook or a Salesforce, anything on that gamut. Keep track of who you're talking to. Schedule the one-on-ones. Know when you're doing a first, second, or third one-on-one. That will help you to make sure that those contacts are kept fresh, because people are going to forget about you very fast. If I walked away from networking today, my time would probably be a few weeks before people don't remember me and they've moved on to somebody else. You have to be fresh. You have to be out there. You have to get to know people. Those people that you know will stick with you forever. I have become a resource for others because I know so many people now. I can refer people to an accountant, to a carpenter, to a financial person, to an insurance agent. That's important, because the more that you give to people, the more they will think of you and say, this is a nice guy or a nice lady. Let's give them some business. I think I know somebody who might be good for them too. That is basically everything I wanted to say. I was having a great time. If anybody has any questions,
Yes.
now
So if
now
you
would be
have
the
a
time.
question, you can just toss a question mark in the chat and we'll send you a request to unmute. Or if you'd prefer, you can just write your question in the chat. Either way is fine. We just generally try and prevent it from being a free-for-all. And
Yeah.
should a bot get in, if I keep people muted, then, really? No one has any
Nope.
question. We have a
Okay.
thank you. We have a
Well,
thank you.
thank you very much. It was a great time to be able to talk. I love to talk, in case you haven't noticed.
We
Um,
did. We did
just
notice.
just for your edification, I did this without notes. Everything was off the top of my head. I didn't think about it beforehand. That takes a lot of practice. But
It does,
it
yes.
but it can be done by any one of you. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Not pat me, I'm wonderful. If I can do it and I was an introvert, everybody else can. And you don't have to be Mr. Glad handing, shaking everybody's hands.
Oh, Jean mentioned that she's been to several and she didn't speak to anyone because she was shy. Jean, do you want to unmute and say anything else or ask any more questions about that as a follow-up?
Well, I'd like to know what happened when you went to one of these meetings.
Okay, it was put on by the Chamber of Commerce, and it was a big thing. They rented out this big facility. It was 2 floors, and I just like walked around, and then I had to put my cards like back in my pocket because I got all sweaty because I had no one. And I just like wandered around. And when I finally saw somebody I knew, it was just another person wandering around. So we just wandered around together after like wandering around for half an hour. So having an elevator pitch that really helped me think like, oh, if I knew what I was going to say when I met somebody, and to just walk up to someone and say, hi, I'm Jean, I do websites, that just doing that would have been a huge thing for me. So right now, if there was one this afternoon, I probably would feel confident going, listening to you. So I just want to thank you that you kind of showed me that I just have to put on my big girl pants and go out there and try.
And
I
Jean,
appreciate it.
can you remind me again where you're located?
I'm in Northwest New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So my group was Sussex County. It was Sussex County,
Got it.
Morris County, Ward County, up in that group.
Okay.
David, do you happen to know anyone in that area?
Yeah.
I actually probably do. Yeah, I have spent some time up there.
That's okay. No pressure.
But I would say you're the biggest thing that happened to you is you went to one of those cattle call events. You
Yeah.
know,
If they had like booths, like it was more like everyone was promoting their business. So there were
right.
booths and you walked over and you got a pen with their name on it, or you know, did something else. And a lot of them were just standing behind their table talking to each other. They really weren't like into, and then if you didn't have a table, they didn't really seem to care. Like if you buy a table, then people will come to you and find out about you. But if it was not set up for the drop-in person to make connection, it was more like the public to see what the Chamber of Commerce can offer to the public.
Right. And
That kind
most
of
of
thing.
those large events are exactly like that. They're geared towards selling tables,
Yeah.
and they're geared towards promoting the overall group. What I would suggest if you want to is look on the website for the chamber and find one of their little get-togethers.
Mhm.
Sometimes, we like our chamber, for example, we have once a month we have a lunch, and it doesn't cost anything. You just walk in, you go sit down, talk to some people. There's probably going to be in our group, we have 175, 200 members. There'll probably be 15 to 20 there. Or there's a happy hour we have once a month where it might be a little bit more people. But you can sit down and have some food and relax and talk to the person sitting next to you.
So for those events, do you have to have already joined the chamber?
Most chambers, most organizations will allow you to go to one or two or three events as a guest. And then after that, somebody is going to hit you up and say, would you like to join? One of the things I didn't talk about is, and we really don't have time, I think, today, but is vetting these groups. Look at the ROI. Your clients look at you for an ROI. Well, you have to look at networking groups for their ROI. If a chamber costs $300 a year to join and they don't have any events, and it's just get on the directory, and then they hit you with 1,000 emails, well, what's the point in being in that group? You're not getting anything from it. Be able to say, I can't do this anymore. It's not worth it. Other chambers might have the same price, but they have 3 or 4 events every month, and they have ribbon cuttings you can go to, and they have a farmer's market that they run every week in the summer that you can volunteer at or get a booth for or just walk around it. Those chambers are worth the time and effort. Same thing with networking groups. There are networking groups that cost $1,000 a year. And is it worth it? Depends on what you do. If you get one job from it, it's a good sized job. You paid for the year, but maybe it's not structured for you. Maybe it's all a bunch of B2C people. If that's the case, don't join it. Join one that's B2B, because that's what we're all interested in here.
Yeah, I noticed that in my chamber, they limit it to 2 businesses in that area. So there were already 2 web design companies, but since I've been coming to so many of Jen's meetups with accessibility, then maybe if I could say, well, I focus on accessibility, that even though I do web design, I focus on web accessibility. So maybe they would let me slide by as an accessibility
Yeah.
person rather than,
It is
Have you,
a different specialty. It's a subspecialty.
yeah. Have you done one-on-ones with both of those other web companies?
no. No, actually, I looked at their work and I didn't think much of it.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, let me tell you something. If you look at my website, it's a landing page. Because I don't get a lot of I've never gotten business from my website. I've gotten business through the people I know and people I've met, and that's been strictly it. Doing networking stuff all over the world. There's some worldwide networking events that web people can get involved in, and you don't have to be in your local area.
Have you ever used platforms like Alignable?
I have. I love Alignable. I that was something I kind of poo-pooed at first. You actually have a lot of people in the web industry that give seminars, and you get some excellent information from them. Also, the referrals can come very, very fast and rapidly. I just recently got one from Alignable for a person who does business consulting between businesses in Baltimore and then ones in China and Europe, and
Interesting.
doing his site over. You never know where these referrals are going to come from. Networking groups are great for that. Alignable is a networking group. LinkedIn is a great way to mine business. I am not a big fan of Facebook for that, unless you're going to just put up in your local town stuff, some ads, or a local business one, some ads. Just get your favorite social media post out there. Otherwise, I don't waste my time with it. I do find LinkedIn is much better for that.
Mhm.
So, but
All
yes,
right.
Alignable is great.
So I think that pretty much wraps us up for today. I will quick share my screen so we can do the wrap-up slides.
Okay.
All right. Outside of our official meetup times, we do have a couple places where you can go and get some WordPress help. The first is our meetup page, and the second is WP Help Desk support, and both of those links are in the chat. Our next meetup is going to be on October 8th at 11 a.m. Eastern. It will be troubleshooting WordPress issues, and it will, of course, be on Zoom. In November, we will be having our very first in-person meetup. I think it's the very first meetup the group has had since 2018 in person. So it would be great if we could get a whole bunch of turnout to that event in November. Check the meetup page for all the details. There's plenty of parking, and there will be snacks.
And what is a WordPress meetup but a networking event?
Yes.
So, same thing. Come on down. I threw my info in the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I gave you my cell and my business line. So, however you want to do it, that's fine. I'm always available for you.
All right. Thank you so much, David. And you guys will also be hearing more from David in the future as he is joining me as a co-organizer on the WordPress meetup. He even went through the required meetup training for WordPress, since WordPress does sponsor our group and pay all the meetup fees for us. He had to do the training. He survived.
It was hours and hours. I mean, the whippings I had to take, it was scary.
But yes, I am looking forward to having someone to share some of the WordPress meetup organizing with.
So you can't escape me, folks. Sorry.
All right, thank you all, and I hope to see you October 8th at 11 a.m. for troubleshooting WordPress issues. As we all know, issues occur on the internet. It's a fact. How we handle them is our choice.